Grenades used in the Civil War weren't that accurate. The most popular model was a hand grenade called the Ketchum model, which was thrown like a dart. Grenades came in either 1, 3, or 5-pound models. Upon impact, the plunger would detonate a percussion cap and ignite a deadly supply of gunpowder. The explosives didn't always work as intended. In fact, when they were bombarded with Ketchum grenades during an 1863 siege at Port Hudson, Confederate soldiers reportedly used blankets to catch the explosives before throwing them back at their helpless attackers. The Ketchum grenades were used at the battles of Vicksburg and Petersburg. The grenades were highly inefficient because they had to land on their nose to detonate. The Confederate copy of the Ketchum grenade was the Rains grenade. It was even less effective than the Ketchum grenade. Grenades in the Civil War were unreliable and inconsistent.
The Napoleon was a powerful cannon that could fire explosives up to a mile and charges of canister up to 300 yards with accuracy. The Napoleon was a favorite amongst the Northern artillerymen because of its firepower and reliability. 2 Union artillerymen armed with Napoleons at Gettysburg were very effective in holding back Confederate infantry attacks on the third day of fighting. Artillery fire ended up causing great losses to the Confederate army.
The Colt artillery carbine became a popular gun with both sides during the American Civil War. Although only about 1,000 were made, their 5-shot repeating capacity and their compact size made them desirable in the early years of the war, before competing arms began to be reduced. Colt also made repeating infantry carbines 3,000 and rifles 10,000. But the artillery arm seemed to combine the best of both, being lightweight but accurate. With interchangeable cylinders, they gave their users a tremendous edge in the frequency of fire. The fact that this arm loaded from the front of its cylinder technically made it a muzzle loader. Still, it could be loaded much faster than a musket. And since this could be accomplished from a prone position, its user would be less likely to be hit by opposing fire. Obviously, these attributes are important during wartime. The US Model 1861 rifle musket impacted the war because it had an increased accuracy and an increased range, and was very effective at 400 yards. It had 2 leaf sights, one sight for 300 yards and one for 500 yards, and it allowed soldiers to fire at various distances. The one with no leaf sight could fire at 100 yards. The power of the musket, skilled marksmen, and the deadly mini ball allowed soldiers to engage at 1,000 yards away. It could fire up to 3 shots per minute, and it was accurate, durable, and easy to maintain.
A bayonet is a knife or sword-shaped weapon designed to fit on a rifle or musket, which turns the gun also into a spear. Although they weren't so popular in the Civil War, they were used in a few key instances, such as during the Battle of Gettysburg in 1863. Union General Joshua Chamberlain ordered his men to charge Confederate troops with their bayonets. Bayonets allowed close hand-to-hand combat between troops with rifles.
There were a lot of different revolvers made during the Civil War. The revolvers made were the Colt 1851 Navy revolver, Colt Dragon revolver, Star revolver, Kerr's Patent revolver, Lamont revolver, Butterfield revolver, and the Walsh revolver. The Colt 1851 Navy revolver was the preferred weapon of the Confederates. The Colt Dragon revolver was issued to the U.S. Cavalry. The Union bought 25,000 of the Star revolvers for $12 each. The Kerr's Patent revolver was used by the Confederate cavalry. The Lamont revolver was a Confederate weapon sold by a French manufacturer. It was well designed, but later found unreliable. The Butterfield revolver was a transitional revolver made in 1855, and production ceased in 1862. The Walsh revolver was a very rare 12-shot revolver. Less than 200 were made. The Union had better revolvers than the Confederates.
The French army officer Claude Etienne Mini invented the mini bullet, a cylinder bullet with a hollow base that expanded when fired, which was super accurate over relatively long distances. After the outbreak of the American Civil War in 1861, both Union and Confederate soldiers used the mini bullet in their muzzle-loading rifles. Soldiers armed with the mini-loaded rifle could hide behind trees or obstacles and take down approaching forces before they could get close enough to cause any damage. It was revolutionary because the number of casualties quickly skyrocketed.
The Spencer carbine impacted the war because it provided armies with enormous firepower. It was able to fire 7 bullets at one time. It used a ton of bullets and lost a lot of ammo before the fight even ended because it shot so many bullets. And the gun produced a lot of smoke and made it hard to see the enemy when firing bullets.